we're going to keep a close eye on, and that for new cases coming up this week.
And even though there's a stay-at-home advisory in Allegheny County, more people are expected to be traveling for Thanksgiving. Last week, the state saw its worst weekly numbers so far. 42,766 new cases were reported. That's a nearly 35% jump. The positivity rate was 24.6%. Health leaders say it shouldn't be over 5%. Governor Tom Wolf and Secretary of Health, Dr. Rachel Levine, are set to hold a COVID-19 briefing at 2 this afternoon. Look for any new developments from that briefing tonight at 5 on Channel 11 News.
Allegheny County Police are investigating 2 deadly shootings, and they both involve teenagers. We start in Wilkinsburg, where 2 people were shot in a car. Early this morning, County Police sent us details of a shooting on Rebecca Avenue. They found a 35-year-old man dead and a 19-year-old with gunshot wounds to the head. He is in the hospital right now in critical condition. County Police reached out to us again for help because they are investigating another deadly shooting. This one happened in Tarentum on Conroy Way. They say an 18-year-old died at the hospital and a 19-year-old is there in stable condition. Police are asking for help finding suspects in both of these shootings. And we're working to learn more about a 3rd homicide, this one in Fayette County. State police tell us 28-year-old Megan Macy was found dead in her home in North Union Township on Saturday. No other details have been released. Police are asking anyone with information to contact State Police Uniontown Station.
Mayor Bill Peduto wants workers in Pittsburgh to continue to get paid sick leave if they are off the job because of COVID-19. Right now, sick leave is offered under a federal plan set to expire at the end of the year, and there is no move yet to extend it. Under the plan Peduto introduced to City Council today, COVID-19 paid sick leave would be handled separately from the city's existing sick day plan. Employees of businesses with 50 or more workers could receive up to 112 hours of paid sick leave due to impacts from COVID-19. The pandemic sick leave would stay in place until the city's COVID-19 declaration of emergency is lifted. It was issued in March. Well, cloudy and chilly today.
Let's head over to meteorologist Danielle Dozier. She's been tracking a little rain and snow today in Severe Weather Center 11.
Yeah, Peggy and Gordon, that's right. We have had some spots of rain and some snow out there. You can just see it here on our radar review as it's been moving across the area. Fairly cloudy out there as well. The temperature is only 38 degrees. We've got a wind chill at 30 because of those breezy winds. West winds right now at 12 miles per hour. Temperature Greensburg is 37, same in Indiana, Butler, Washington. You're checking in at 38, Morgantown at 40 today. The temperature will only climb a few more degrees to a high near 43. Those winds could gust up to about 20 miles per hour. We will keep that chance for some spotty rain and snow in the forecast through this afternoon, but I'll let you know when some clearing will be taking place and how cold it'll get for your Tuesday morning. Still to come.
Well, this has not been a normal year. I think we all can agree on that one. And this is not a normal Thanksgiving week. Instead of rushing around to get food for the big meal or heading out of town, a lot of people are rushing to get a COVID-19 test so they can have more peace of mind if they're hosting or visiting family for the holiday. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond learned why people are running into problems.
If you want to get a COVID-19 test and you want to get your results before Thanksgiving, you're running out of time. Here's a few other things to keep in mind, too. A majority of places require you to have an appointment, and now some sites are no longer testing people who don't have any symptoms. Both Allegheny Health Network and UPMC offer testing, but they each have their own set of criteria for getting a test. Take UPMC, for example. You need a doctor's order, and Allegheny Health Network also requires a doctor's order, but is not offering testing for people who are asymptomatic. You have to have symptoms if you want to test with Allegheny Health Network. There are a lot of different tests out there right now. The fastest test available is an antigen test. It takes between 15 and 30 minutes. One thing to know about these rapid tests, though, they have a higher rate of false negatives. And then depending on the test and where you go, results could take minutes, or you could be waiting for days. Average right now, 3 to 5 days or even longer. I recently spoke with an infectious disease doctor with UPMC DMC, and she says that negative results are giving people a false sense of security. Here's why. So if you get a negative result today, that doesn't mean you won't test positive a few days later. And think about this too. If you get a negative result and then you can be exposed in the next couple of days before you arrive at your destination for Thanksgiving. We do have a list of a bunch of different testing sites on the WPXI News app. Reporting from Mount Washington, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
COVID-19 hospital stays are on the rise, and health officials say we are on a dangerous path. A University of Washington model predicts Pennsylvania could run out of ICU beds as soon as next month. The top health leaders in Allegheny County say if cases continue to rise, our health system will be threatened. County-level data from the Department of Health indicates Allegheny County's ICU capacity is dwindling, with only 108 beds, about 13% available as of Friday. Hospital leaders are also concerned about staffing. They say as the virus continues to spread in communities, more healthcare workers will become infected and will need to quarantine. We are learning more about a third vaccine trial. AstraZeneca says the one that it's working on is on average 70% effective. The British drug maker says it could be distributed easier than the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. And some Americans could receive their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine in just a few weeks. Our Jacqueline Fell has more from health experts who say the U.S. is still looking at a harsh winter.
The head of the White House vaccine effort, Operation Warp Speed, says vaccinations could start in just a few weeks and that 20 million Americans could be vaccinated before the end of the year. Officials say the FDA Vaccine Advisory Committee is scheduled to meet December 10th. If the panel issues an emergency use authorization, Pfizer says it could roll out its COVID-19 vaccine the very next day. It's likely doctors, nurses, and other frontline workers will get shots first, followed by older Americans and those with underlying medical conditions. Health experts say these vaccines are the light at the end of the tunnel.
Vaccines are close by. They're coming. You know, I said help is on the way, which to me, I think should motivate people even more to double down.
With 3 million coronavirus cases and counting, according to Johns Hopkins University data, November is already the worst month by far for the country. And health experts warn cases and deaths could rise following the Thanksgiving holiday. Reporting outside Washington, Jacqueline Fell, Channel 11 News.
The Plum School District has closed all of its buildings and moved students to remote learning. It comes after 7 new COVID cases, 4 employees and 3 students. The cases are connected to 4 schools, including the high school. The buildings will be closed until at least December 1st. It is unknown if any of the new cases are connected to the parent-sponsored homecoming dance from 2 weeks ago. District leaders say they had nothing to do with that dance. More than 150 kids attended, and masks and social distancing were not required.
More than 300 Pitt students are accused of violating the school's coronavirus protocols during the fall semester. Those students face various punishments, including possible suspension. University officials say they've received nearly 900 tips about violations, but many I should say, could not be investigated of those cases because there's not enough information given. Last week, Pitt reported 50 new positive COVID cases, and 99 students are in isolation.
Several communities, go ahead, Gordon.
Yes, several communities, as you're about to say, in Lawrence County are under a boil water advisory. That includes portions of Newcastle and Chenango Township. Other townships listed on your screen there. Pennsylvania American Water says they lost pressure at a water storage tank after a 12-inch line broke, and they issued the advisory as a precaution. You can find bottled water at the Lawrence Village Plaza and Neshannock Municipal Building.
President-elect Joe Biden's cabinet will take shape this week. Veteran diplomat and longtime foreign policy advisor Antony Blinken is said to be Biden's top choice for Secretary of State. And we told you Pennsylvania is certifying election results today. One of the 2 critical states signing off on the election as President Trump asks for another recount. NBC's Tracy Potts has the latest on the transition of power.
Today, Michigan and Pennsylvania will start certifying election results. President Trump sued in both states and lost.
Quite frankly, the conduct of the president's legal team has been a national embarrassment.
Now the president is asking for a second recount in Georgia.
I think he's a big baby. It is what it is. The numbers don't lie.
Republicans are turning up the heat on the administration to start working with President-elect Joe Biden's transition team.
It was past time to start a transition, to at least cooperate with the transition. I'd rather have a president that has more than one day to prepare.
It's time for them to stop the nonsense. It just gets more bizarre every single day.
Biden is expected to name more members of his cabinet this week.
We need the FBI to start background checks.
They're still locked out of coronavirus planning.
I have been informed that I should not be saying anything that's confidential to anybody.
Biden and his chief of staff warned the lack of cooperation could delay distributing vaccine.
I do think there's risk that distribution has gaps and lapses starting on January 20th.
Meantime, President Trump opened and closed the G20 summit of world leaders, but went golfing in between and skipped the session on pandemic preparedness. Meantime, the Biden team already planning inauguration with Congress. The incoming chief of staff saying this will be a non-traditional inauguration because of COVID. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
In the black and gold zone, a big week for the Steelers with a primetime Thanksgiving Day matchup here on Channel 11. The Steelers, of course, beat Jacksonville yesterday, taking them to 10-0 undefeated. But there is no time to celebrate that perfect season. They are gearing up for the Thanksgiving night showdown at Heinz Field in the rematch with the Ravens. And with 10 wins under their belts and with an earlier win against the Ravens, the Steelers are riding high with possibly a psychological edge here.
We're just excited. Yes, we have the momentum going into it, but it's a divisional game. It's a rivalry game. We're already excited. We're already prepared. We feel like we just got to go out there and play our game. So I just keep on working throughout this week, get all the minor injuries intact, and then let's go out and win the game.
And you can catch that game right here on Channel 11 Thursday night. We have a special pregame show starting at 7, leading up to the kickoff at 8:20.
Doctors started entering into what I would say was almost insulting.
Some say it's like being victimized all over again. Target 11 investigates problems with a program to help priest sex abuse victims.
Chilly, breezy with a little bit of rain and snow today, but we're going to have a little bit of dry time before another wet system moves in. I'll have the timing on more rain coming up.
And the boom for some local restaurants as families change their Thanksgiving Day traditions.
Many families are skipping the big family meals for Thanksgiving, and local restaurants are hoping you're going to turn to them for some takeout. The chef at Bistro 19 says there is such a need for prepared meals, they're already sold out.
We put the menu online at the end of October, and it sold out, pretty quick. I took more orders than I wanted to because, the need is there.
There are plenty of restaurants offering Thanksgiving dinners to go. Just click on the coronavirus section at WPXI.com. With more people staying home for Thanksgiving, grocery stores could be busier than usual.
Yeah, Channel 11's Mike Holden has the best ways to safely tackle grocery shopping this week.
Pandemic or not, people are still choosing to have Thanksgiving Day celebrations. And that means although you're not going to see a whole lot of large-scale parties, there will be several smaller ones with people coming to stores like Giant Eagle right here at McIntyre Square. The experts are stressing, do not panic over this situation, plan ahead, and prepare for some additional delays. Now, experts say your safest bet is to shop for groceries using apps from your home or grocery store websites. Instacart, Amazon Fresh, and even using Walmart and Giant Eagle's grocery pickup service are some great options. If you have to go in person, don't sweat it. Just mask up, avoid crowded aisles, and social distance. The best way to do this is to go on Google and check said store hours, which will show you the busiest and slowest times of the day. Typically Wednesday, of course, the day before is the busiest, and stores are most crowded between 5 and 6 o'clock at night, so definitely shop early. You may still have some additional questions, though, over safety measures, including should you be wearing gloves at the grocery store? Health officials say gloves are not necessary, and you can actually cross-contaminate when touching your phone and list. Next question, should you wipe down your cart? You can sanitize, but it's not essential. Health officials say what you can do is avoid touching your face and mouth. And finally, should you be wiping down your groceries? Health officials say the risk of catching COVID from a surface is rare. You can choose to do so if you want to, but truly, it does not matter. Now, out here this afternoon, experts are also saying to check each store's policies. Some are limiting how many paper products, others are limiting the overall occupancy inside stores, so you may have to wait it out a little bit longer outside. We'll keep a close eye on local situations, and as soon as we get any additional updates or changes, we'll bring them to you on air, online, and on the WPXI News app. Reporting from McIntyre Square this afternoon, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
I feel there's a lot of people that are hurting right now with the pandemic and with the holidays coming back. We wanted to give back to the community.
And the Delmont Police Department is doing just that, giving back to the community as many struggle to put food on the table. For the past few months, the department sold T-shirts to raise money for the Westmoreland County Food Bank. But then the police chief came up with an even bigger idea, a food drive. And yesterday, the police department, volunteers, and the Salvation Army filled up donation boxes with lots of help from the community.
With the difficulties that people are having right now, not only economically, but health-wise and everything else, this is probably the best time to try to be helping other people.
Everything collected yesterday will go toward feeding the nearly 7,000 households the Westmoreland County Food Bank serves each month.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Well, we've quieted things down across a good part of the area, although there's one little batch of spotty rain that has been mixing with snow. That's been here in far eastern Ohio, moving into the panhandle of West Virginia, and then could clip portions of Washington County, maybe even southern Allegheny County, if it holds together. The rest of us are dealing with a cloudy sky. You can see on our visible satellite those clouds coming across our area. They will be rather thick in spots for the day today, and maybe even a little bit of break in the cloud cover by evening, and we'll take a look at that here in just a second. Wind chills right now are in the upper 20s and low 30s. It really just depends on what the wind is doing in your area, because we factor that into the air temperature to get what it feels like. But this is really what you can expect for the rest of the day. The gusts up to about 20 miles per hour is going to make it feel like the low to middle 30s as the air temperatures climb into the lower 40s this afternoon. If you are out walking your dog this afternoon and into the evening, evening, just plan on having your coat with you. It's going to feel even colder, as I mentioned, with those gusty winds. Here's our storm tracker maps as we head into this afternoon. Could have that spotty moisture linger into the middle part of the day and into those late afternoon hours. You see a little green, a little bit of purple here and there. The purple is mixed precipitation, so that's a rain or a snow mix. And you can see actually the model data bringing in some breaks in the clouds. So I've got that in the forecast for the overnight period and into your Tuesday morning. Tuesday itself will be a dry day for us. It does look like the clouds, if you're not seeing them out there in the morning, they will really thicken up across the entire area as we head into about 3-4 p.m. So you can see all that gray shaded color on the map. And of course, it is that time of year. We know that we see quite a bit of cloud cover around this part of the year. So tonight we're looking at lows down to about 29 Pittsburgh, Butler, 29 Greensburg, 32 in Uniontown. 31 degrees in Morgantown. It'll be cold enough for your coats all day long tomorrow. Good news about tomorrow is the winds will be lighter. The air temperature will be on par with where they're going to be at today. So about 43 in Pittsburgh, 45 in Washington, and 45 degrees out in Indiana. My 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. We get into Wednesday. We are expecting another wet system, so some showers will be in our picture and our forecast there. 55 degrees, and then a shower or two lingering on into your Thanksgiving Day morning. In the next half hour, I'm actually going to walk you hour by hour through this time frame. If you do have any plans, maybe you're heading to the grocery store, want to get you caught up on that. So we'll do that coming up. 56 on Friday and cloudy, and your weekend is always in view. Mid-50s again, well above average, and the chance for a few showers Saturday. Right now trending a little drier on Sunday.
The American Music Award goes to
a big night for a local singer. His celebration at the American Music Awards.
And the parade must go on. How Macy's plans to pull off a socially distanced Thanksgiving Day parade. Well, we know you've heard this before, but because of the pandemic, things have to be done a bit differently this year. That includes the big Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Instead of canceling it, the show will go on.
But the only place to see the parade this year is on TV. NBC's Chris Pallone explains.
Thanksgiving will be a lot different this year because of COVID-19, but one thing you can count on is millions of Americans will tune into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on NBC.
We'll still be doing a live parade on Thanksgiving Day, but it's going to be shortened, and it's going to be something that's only for the viewers at home.
That means no crowds lining the streets of Manhattan. And as marching bands, floats, and balloons make their way to Herald Square, instead performances will take place only on television near Macy's iconic flagship store, utilizing every precaution to stop the virus's spread.
Safety is our #1 priority.
That means the number of people involved has been cut by 75%. There will be masks and social distancing. And those trademark Macy's helium balloons will be tethered to vehicles this year instead of being walked by dozens of balloon handlers. But for viewers, it will still be the parade they've seen for decades.
That viewers can expect to see a lot of the same stuff that they know and love that the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade brings every single year.
And there will still be big stars like Dolly Parton, BB Rexa, and Jordan Sparks. 18 big helium balloons and 35 floats, including one presented by a big producer of Thanksgiving turkeys, Jenny O.
And the crazy thing is, there has never been a turkey company in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Lots of clowns, my favorite. And much to my own personal terror, there will still be clowns. Way too many clowns. I can't deal with the clowns. No Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade would be complete without a special visitor from the North Pole, a symbol of hope in a year that truly needs it. Chris Pallone, NBC News, New York.
And this year's edition of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade kicks off at 9 Thanksgiving morning right here on WPXI.
A lot of Americans are behind on their credit card bills, and debt collectors aren't just stopping at making call after call. Why they can now send you text after text and how to stop it.
The program that Pittsburgh ran was the most poorly funded.
It was supposed to help people abused by priests. Target 11 investigates the program. Some say victimized them all over again.
Much colder today with a chance for some pop-up rain showers, even some snow.
Oh, hate to hear that word. Meteorologist Danielle Dozier tracking the changes for us in Severe Weather Center 11. Danielle, I saw like little ice pellets coming down in Wexford today.
Yeah, I believe it. We have a little bit of rain, we have some snow, we have a little bit of that mixed precipitation that will be occurring today. And if you're not seeing it, it's going to be a rather cloudy afternoon as well. 38 degrees is the current air temperature, but it feels a whole lot colder when you factor in that breeze that will continue for the rest of the day today. Storm tracker does show a little bit of green, a little bit of purple coming across the area as we head through the day. What that means on our storm tracker maps is we have rain in green, we have mixed precipitation in purple, and then the white or gray shaded color is snow when you see that moving here. We are looking at some breaks in the clouds as we head toward late day and evening, and we'll begin to dry things out for anyone who is seeing some precipitation as we head into this evening. I can tell you anything that falls will be very short-lived, and we're not expecting any snow accumulation by any means, but I would have at least your coat on with a hoodie to protect yourself from that precip later on today. I am tracking the hour-by-hour forecast with the timing of that midweek system. I'll have that for you coming up in several minutes.
A special program to compensate victims of clergy sex abuse in Pittsburgh Diocese shut down last month. That fund was launched after the bombshell 2018 Pennsylvania grand jury report. Target 11 investigator Rick Earl found out that some victims say that fund was a huge disappointment.
Some clergy sex abuse victims say it's as if they're victims all over again, this time not at the hands of priests, but the Pittsburgh Diocese, as they claim a program designed to compensate them just didn't add up.
Quite frankly, the program that Pittsburgh ran was the most poorly funded.
Attorney Ben Andriazzi represents about 30 victims of clergy sex abuse in the Pittsburgh Diocese, and he says only half of them accepted money from the special fund.
You know, we're not talking about them thumbing their nose up at millions of dollars. You're talking about situations where people who have been raped are offered, less than, $20,000. They lost out on job opportunities. They lost out on their education. The needs far exceed that of what they were offered.
I would not have accepted it.
But Ryan O'Connor, who says he was repeatedly abused by a priest as a young boy in the Johnstown Diocese, understands why some survivors took the money.
There are survivors out there who don't want to come forward, who don't want to go through everything.
In the beginning, Andriazzi says Pittsburgh's offers were in line with programs in other dioceses, where the average settlement he saw was about $130,000, the highest $500,000. But something changed.
The offer started entering into what I would say was almost insulting range.
Andriazzi pointed to the case of two brothers who attended St. Luke's in Carnegie. He says both were abused by the same priest, yet received dramatically different compensation.
Settlement offer was 6 times greater.
How does that happen?
Well, the one brother didn't go through the program in the beginning.
I reached out here to the Pittsburgh Catholic Diocese to try to get some answers. They told me the program just ended last month, and they're in the process of compiling information and plan to issue a report soon. More than 350 people filed claims, and the diocese has said they expect to pay out tens of millions of dollars. To pay for it, the diocese said they would sell off property, but other funds would be off limits.
Let me be clear. No funds for this program will come from our Campaign for the Church Alive, nor from Catholic charities, nor from parishes, schools, or any other funds designated for a specific use by donors.
A month later, in a news release, the bishop said administrators will have, quote, autonomy to determine eligibility of individual claims and determine the amount of compensation for victims. Similar programs in other dioceses like Harrisburg that paid 100 victims $12 million led to bankruptcy. Pittsburgh has avoided that, but the diocese took a hit when a judge banned them from tapping an $8 million trust fund donated in the 1800s to support an orphanage that has since closed. The funds have been used to support youth programs. Attorney General Josh Shapiro, who issued the scathing grand jury report on clergy sex abuse, went to court to block the use, calling it a, quote, unlawful misuse of charitable funds, saying clergy abuse victims deserve better. And that may explain why the offers declined. Some survivors who didn't take the money are now waiting and hoping for court rulings or changes in state law that will ultimately allow them to file civil suits.
Because it's not about money, it's about justice. It's about getting into that court of law and sitting across from our abusers.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
Victims who take that settlement offer give up the right to file lawsuits. And right now there's a proposal in the state legislature for a constitutional amendment that gives victims a 2-year window to file civil suits. That plan would also need approval from voters in a statewide referendum. Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
A memorial service will be held today for a Johnstown police canine that was killed in the line of duty. Canine Titan fell down an elevator shaft at an old Goodwill warehouse early yesterday. Officials say he helped catch 2 burglary suspects and was searching for 3 more. He fell through an unsecured open elevator shaft. Titan served with the Johnstown Police Department since 2014. During today's memorial services, people who would like to pay their respects are asked to line the streets during the procession.
Beginning tomorrow, in-person hearings in Allegheny County courts will be on hold until after December 4th. In the last 2 weeks, 15 people who recently visited court facilities have tested positive for coronavirus. That includes numerous court employees and lawyers. The Allegheny County Courthouse shut down near the beginning of the pandemic. Criminal jury trials just resumed last month. Pittsburgh Municipal Court will continue to have some in-person hearings, and all court offices will remain open to the public.
Pat Quinn, a co-founder of the Ice Bucket Challenge, has died. He helped raise international awareness about ALS. The social media challenge started back in 2014. It raised more than $220 million for research. John Loring has been the man behind that phenomenon.
Pat Quinn's life took a major turn in March 2013, shortly after he celebrated his 30th birthday and was diagnosed with ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
I just feel like it's my purpose in life.
Standing over here for you.
Quinn co-founded the Ice Bucket Challenge, a viral social media phenomenon that began in 2014 and raised more than $220 million globally for ALS research, according to the ALS Association. Celebrities and former presidents got in on the challenge.
Something like an Ice Bucket Challenge where people just say ALS, the awareness gets out there. Maybe a few more people will look it up.
Quinn would later lose his ability to speak, but he was never silenced, thanks to a device that recreated his voice and inflections by matching it with previous speeches and interviews he did over the years.
Whatever it takes to keep making a difference, change this disease, and hopefully inspire people along the way.
On the 5th anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge's debut, Quinn said to a crowd at an ALS event in Boston that although his fight with ALS was an absolute battle, he wouldn't trade my life for anything.
Hope is everything and it keeps me going.
Pat Quinn was 37 years old. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Terrible disease. The ALS Association says Quinn fought the disease with positivity and bravery and inspired all around him. There is no cure for that condition.
We're learning about a health issue popping up because of remote learning, the unexpected consequences it's having on some kids.
Plus how beer and wine makers here in Pennsylvania caught a break that could help them stay in business.
Lower Burl's City Hall renovation project is finally done. It came in close to budget, but took about 6 months longer than planned. Our partners at the Trib shared these photos with us. In all, the city spent about $3 million on the renovations. They include adding more space for police and public works employees. The city also upgraded its technology, making it easier for folks to access services online. Council raised taxes and used a bond to pay for the project. Wineries, breweries, and distilleries finally catch a break. The State Liquor Control Board waived license fees for all of next year. That will cost the state revenue. The state estimated it would get $1.8 million in license fees next year, but state regulators say they realize wine, beer, and spirit makers are struggling, and the move had to be made.
Significant weight gain for kids is becoming one of the many negative impacts of remote learning. The American Academy of Pediatrics says there are actually two problems here. First, kids are staying at home for long periods of time with limited physical activity. And second, kids might not be getting highly nutritious meals at home. One mom says her 3 boys aren't getting physical fitness, and the kind they are getting might not be the greatest.
The most exercise they're getting is really by wrestling in the living room, which doesn't afford, the best exercise experience. They're missing gym.
A doctor with the American Academy of Pediatrics says some of the children she sees in her private practice have gained 20 pounds or more. That's a lot for a child. She's started handing out jump ropes to her patients. A lot of Americans are behind on credit card bills, and debt collectors aren't just stopping at making call after call. Why, they can now send you a text after text, and how to stop that.
We do have more rain coming in for the middle of the week. As promised, we'll look at your hour-by-hour timeline for that rain, and we'll talk your Thanksgiving Day forecast.
Some major retailers are betting on beauty this holiday season. Target and Kohl's are both investing in nail products, perfumes, and similar items. Analysts say makeup and other personal care items have been selling really well online, and now stores are trying to get some of that business back. A lot of Americans are behind on some of their bills, but that doesn't mean they deserve to be harassed. And our consumer advocate, Clark Howard, explains what debt collectors are not allowed to do.
So many of our fellow Americans are behind on a debt somewhere, and they may have something that's been turned over to a debt collector. In the past, what that's meant is you've gotten a phone call. Now, under new federal rules, you can be texted and texted and texted over and over again on your cell phone, emailed, social media attacks on you by the debt collectors. But let me tell you something, you don't have to take it. You have the right to tell the debt collector not to text you, not to contact you on social media, and not to email you. It doesn't mean you don't owe the debt, but they have to give you an easy method to notify them that you don't want to receive the text anymore. They'll probably send you one of those things where it says, reply stop. If you don't want to get them anymore, reply stop. Tell them to get lost. Now, if you owe money and you can pay it, I want you to pay it. But to harass people with text messages, I just think that is completely unacceptable. I'm Clark Howard.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Well, thanks to Tim for sending in this beautiful picture of his holiday lights on his house. He sent this to me over the weekend, and he said that every time he puts his lights up, it just rains right afterward. And then he said the winds ramp up, and I unfortunately told him, well, that's exactly what's going to be happening today, unfortunately. So we had the rain, then we had the wind. Of course, this was last night where he actually sent this picture in. So we were talking about the rain and the wind, and, you know, just wanted to let you guys know that if you were planning on hanging your Christmas lights or your holiday decorations, you want to be advised that tomorrow will be a dry day. It'll be chilly though, so again, if you are planning on heading out, just keep that in mind. But again, good news is the winds will be light. I'm again having a little problem with advancing my graphics, so I'm going to walk off camera for a quick second and see if I can get this going for you. But again, Tuesday looking good. We have those light winds expected, and we have temperatures that are going to be in the 40s, so it's going to be a chilly day on Tuesday and a cold start at near 30 degrees. So I think I got it working, guys. So here we go. So we're looking at that forecast for the Christmas lights, even though I just told you what to expect. If you have the time, you'll want to go ahead and do that for the day tomorrow, because we do have more rain that's going to be moving in on Wednesday. So our planner shows hour by hour for the morning tomorrow, about freezing at 6 o'clock. We may get down to about 30 in the morning tomorrow. I am expecting some breaks in the clouds as we head into the morning. In the afternoon, we're looking at temperatures in the lower 40s with those light winds, and we do increase the cloud cover as well. Area-wide, the temperatures will be climbing into the low to middle 40s tomorrow, and then we're going to be tracking a big warm-up as we head into the day on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday, though, we will be tracking some rain. Our latest data has been showing that rain will be moving in during the afternoon and will continue into Wednesday evening. So if you were planning on heading to the grocery store and grabbing those last-minute items for Thanksgiving Day, it will be wet out there. So at least it won't be a cold rain. You could look at it like that. We'll have mid-50s for highs, and then that rain is set to continue into your Thanksgiving Day morning. So we'll be dodging some showers, and we could have a few lingering into the early afternoon before this weather system ultimately clears out of here. Some Thanksgiving Day facts. I wanted to bring these to you. Look at the coldest, warmest, wettest, and snowiest. Can you believe it? Almost 2 inches of snow back in 2010. Thanksgiving Day itself, we're looking at temperatures in the lower 50s, and again, a little bit of rain around in the morning with drying skies by late afternoon. 5-day forecast, your weekend always in view. Look at the mild weather. Once we get past Tuesday, we have temperatures in the 50s for highs. We're going to carry those into the weekend, and those temperatures are well above average.
Thanks, Danielle. Now here's local steals and deals.
Hey, I have something that is perfect for right now. Gift giving season is upon us. And if you read all the articles, what they say is people today want experiences. How do you give someone an experience if they're not leaving the house? I can help you with that. This is the Arts of Christmas box, and it is actually kind of a virtual trip. It's an experience where you get to experience the Holy Land in ways that you never have before. And I love everything in here, because everything in here is something you get to use and experience and learn and eat and taste and talk about and all those kinds of wonderful things. So this is Shava tea. peace and tranquility. It's a wonderful traditional tea in that part of the world. Shakshuka blend. This is a wonderful hand blend of 8 different spices that makes up a traditional breakfast dish in that part of the world that everybody talks about when they visit. This beautiful organic handmade soap. It's actually made by a mother of 3. And she went to school to learn how to make fine soap. She now sells them there in Israel, and now you can experience that here. This cross is made from olive wood that is 150 years old. Isn't that amazing? A game made by a grandmother to help her grandchildren experience that country. I mean, this amazing apple pomegranate honey spread that was made by farmers, and all kinds of great information. And this is something that you can give someone, and it is an experience. I was lucky enough to be able to help my parents take a trip to the Holy Land a number of years ago, and they had the most amazing time experiencing the culture and the history. To be able to give someone that experience without ever having to leave home, and have it be something you can all do together. The whole family gathers around, you open up the box, you try everything, you talk about everything, and you learn about everything. I love that idea. Right now on localsteals.com, the Arts of Christmas box is 20% off, and it's an experience you will all remember and absolutely love.
And the American Music Award goes to Dan and Shay with Justin Bieber, 10,000 Hours.
Night at the American Music Awards for Wexford native Dan Smyers. Smyers is half of the country duo Dan and Shay. The pair won Favorite Country Song last night for their song 10,000 Hours. And the honors didn't stop there. The song also won Collaboration of the Year, and Dan and Shay took home Best Country Duo.
Before we go today, we have some big news to announce. Peggy Finnegan will be retiring next month from WPXI Channel 11 News. And Peggy has been on the Channel 11 anchor desk for 30 years, a remarkable achievement. And she's helped guide this city and region through some of the biggest stories in recent history, from tragic moments to historic victories. And Peggy, you've done it all with grace.
Were you guys surprised, Danielle, Gordon?
Oh, gosh, yes. And heartbroken, by the way.
Aw, thank you. It's a really hard decision to make a decision to retire, especially when it means leaving a job that you truly love and colleagues that you really, really care about and enjoy. And it's going to be so hard to say goodbye to dear friends at Channel 11. We have, you'll agree, so many talented people here, and I have really made great friends over the years. But if the pandemic has taught me anything, it's that life is fickle, it's too short for some, and that makes your priorities change. It's time to seize the day. I want to spend more time with my family. 3 of my 4 kids live far away, and I'm blessed to still have my dear parents, and I want to spend more time with them as well, and with my siblings and family in Chicago. It's just time, Gordon. You know when it's time. It'll happen to you someday, too.
Well, you are one of the best and one of the sweetest in the business. It's been an honor to work with you. And here's the good news.
What?
This isn't official for another month, so we still have time to talk you out of this. And we've already started.
Yeah.
We've been working on
what
it
do you
all
think
day.
they'd say if I said, hey, guys, I've changed my mind?
They would take you back in a heartbeat,
Everything's
believe me.
gone out.
And you're not leaving Pittsburgh, right?
No,
Okay.
of course not. Pittsburgh's home.
Yeah. Well, we love to have you, and we hope you stay forever. Peggy, we appreciate you.
Thank you, Gordon.
And congratulations on your retirement. That is all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is tonight at 5.
Have a great day, everyone.